I want to welcome everybody. Tonight we have a very, very, very special guest with us tonight. The unbelievable Patti Henley, as well as Brenda Lee Eager, aka the Soul Sisters, who are going to be joining us. And Patti actually brought family members as well, and they have an insane musical background and history, and we're going to be talking a lot about that history. I mean, they've done work with everybody from Smokey Robinson to Prince to Stevie Wonder to, I mean, it's just, the list just goes on and on and on. So the amount of musical background and history that you're about to get tonight is going to be overwhelming. So I hope you guys are ready and that you didn't have any caffeine, because you're not going to need it, because this is going to be an energized night of information and music history, and it's going to be phenomenal.
We have Ron Henley, we have Kat Sutherland, and we have Chris Sutherland. Patti and Brenda are both in LA, and they haven't connected yet. So we're actually, part of the connection's not here yet. We just have half the family and half the stories, but we're going to get to all of that as well. So Patti and Brenda.
Let me give you a little bit of background about Patti and Brenda, because a lot of you don't really know the whole story, but there is quite a bit. They are legends. I mean, literal legends. I mean, they've done work with Jesse Jackson and Operation Breadbasket. Actually, Dr. King heavily supported Operation Breadbasket during its day, and they had extensive professional accomplishments and as far as musical accomplishments, with a laundry list of artists that include Ray Charles, James Brown, Stevie Wonder, Prince, Smokey Robinson, Michael Jackson. I mean, just a never-ending list of musical giants. I mean, the biggest names in R&B and soul, and they've probably worked with them or crossed paths or wrote music for them or performed with them in some form or fashion. And it's pretty amazing. So
right. The biggest names and the biggest influences. So it's been so much larger than what we could recognize or even understand, because they've been doing this for so long. Some of us were not even born while they were out there pioneering and pushing and making things happen. So just to be blessed with that kind of situation, and
some of us were,
makes it even more amazing.
Just tell to everybody. Yeah, okay.
That's true, Jeff. Some of us weren't even born yet.
Yes. During Operation Breadbasket, I was in '69. I was 1. Jeff was also 1.
Oh yeah, well, we were 1 with everyone, you know. So.
All right, guess what? They're here. Let's go ahead and bring them in. There they are. Oh,
there they are.
Yay!
We're gonna have to give them levels. There they are. Look at all.
The history that these guys have as far as this industry and the things that they've done have actually affected and influenced what music is and how music is today. So that's really one of the biggest reasons that they need to be here, and that this needs to be shared, because obviously this is an extremely Prince heavy station and there's so much love. However, Prince, there we are.
Can you hear us now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, good. So I just want to make one comment right quick. Are you trying to say that we were old or something?
What they are is experienced.
That's right. Seasoned.
You guys are you were so seasoned that even me being born, I couldn't understand the flavor.
No, you know what? That's why we're here to help you out. That's why we're here.
We need more light.
Yeah, Patti, I was expecting you to come in from the background, because they're labeled as the Henleys, so I was expecting you to come into the frame any second, and they just said you weren't even there. Okay, that's okay. But I'm glad that everybody's here. Unbelievable. As I mentioned, we've got they've got lighting too. Oh, this is going to be amazing.
We're coming back.
That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine.
Absolutely.
So as I had mentioned, we've got Patti Henley and we've also got Brenda Lee Eager in the house, who are, as I mentioned, musical legends, and they just continue to they continue to reach out in schools and meet with kids and make sure that that it's and the message of just equality and just continuing on with the mission that started with Operation Breadbasket and continued on is just it's just phenomenal, everything that they do. So what I'll do while they're sitting up a little bit is that I kind of want to talk. I kind of want to talk a little bit about the other back. Look, and they're lit and everything. That's great.
Lit.
They're lit. They're lit and everything. So, and as I mentioned, I'm going to go ahead and share a little bit of. I'm going to share a little bit of a video here because I wanted to for people to kind of see some of the background and everything that I actually wanted to make sure that we kind of turn this down. I didn't want to do any audio necessarily on this, but I mean, you can, there was a little bit of background here, but I want to talk a little bit about Operation Breadbasket. I want to make sure that we use the time here with all of you wisely. But I want to discuss, how you got involved with Jesse Jackson and Operation Breadbasket. But obviously, before we share that story, I kind of want to kind of explain to people what Operation Breadbasket was, which was an organization that was founded by the Southern Christian Leadership Conference in 1962. It was operated by Reverend Fred C. Bennett of Atlanta, right here in Atlanta, and it was dedicated to improving the economic conditions of Black communities. Now, Reverend Jesse Jackson stepped in around 1964 and began realizing the impact that this organization had on Black communities. And while he was involved with the SCLC movement in Selma, and then he left South Carolina, went up to Chicago to study at the Chicago Theological Seminary, and he established a base in Chicago for Operation Breadbasket and was made the head of that chapter. And while he was there, he organized boycotts of some white businesses to pressure them to hire Blacks and also purchase goods and services from Black contractors. And there were some insanely disturbing conditions there where some of the grocery stores there that were white owned, that were selling old and bad infested meat into the Black communities that they served and making their kids sick. And finally, everybody just stood up and just said enough. And they boycotted those stores and shone a light on the conditions of those establishments. Now, Dr. Martin Luther King called the Chicago chapter effort of Operation Breadbasket the most spectacularly successful program. And it was the fundamental premise of Breadbasket is a simple one, that Blacks need not patronize a business which denies them jobs or advancement or plain courtesy. And he said, many retail businesses and consumer goods industries deplete the ghetto by selling to Negroes without returning to the community any of the profits through fair hiring practices. That's a quote from Dr. King. But it wasn't just the grocery stores. It was all businesses like gas stations and restaurants that wouldn't let African-Americans use the restrooms, and other businesses that just participated in these types of reprehensible practices. And it happened regularly. And now we kind of fast forward and Jesse Jackson kind of broke away from SCLC to create the Rainbow Push Coalition, which is an acronym for People United to Save Humanity, which pretty much had the same purpose as Operation Breadbasket. But while he was supporting the Operation Breadbasket effort, our very special guest here, Patti Henley and Brenda Lee Eager, were handpicked by Jesse Jackson to become the Piperettes of Freedom, which was a singing group that became what they referred to as the voice of MLK's Operation Breadbasket movement. And they was all put together and designed to help bring jobs and racial equality to Black communities, not only in Chicago, but all across America, just everywhere across America. So, Brenda, Patti, is that pretty much fairly accurate?
Yeah, you've done your homework.
Yeah, you did.
You hit it right on the nail. Yes. I believe you quoted some of those print things there. Yeah. I'm looking at some of those pictures, and those pictures are taking us back. Yeah, I was it. Oh, there's Fred. There's so and so. There's something. Many of those people in there.
It's awesome to see see that past, that history again. It's like reliving, and it's disheartening, scary, and then it's empowering because of what you did and what you've continued to do. So let me just say that again, it's an honor to have you guys here, all of you on the show. And I also want to make sure that we acknowledge everyone else who's joined us. So Patti, if you please, if you don't mind, can you introduce everyone who's there with you, and so everyone knows who's in the room, and we can keep going from there?
Well, to my left, your right, I guess it is my brother Bob Henley III.
Bob, sir.
I give a clap.
This is Brenda Lee Eager right here.
Yeah.
This is my son Cam Talbert right here.
The DJ of the house.
And this is his dad, Homer Talbert.
That's nice. So, and then we also have. I want to make sure that we put the Henleys in the mix, and let's get an introduction from I guess left to right. I guess our right to left, or however. Go ahead.
Okay, now understand that the Henleys are Patti, Bob, and Ron.
Right.
I'm Ron Henley. This is my wife. This is my sister-in-law.
Nice. Absolutely nice to meet all of you. So fantastic. Thank you for all the introductions, because we got so much. We want to make sure that everybody that's a guest here is going to get a proper introduction. If you are listening on the radio station, which I assume that many of you, hundreds of you, are listening all around the world. If you would like to see the video and actually lay eyes on these fine folk, you can absolutely do it. Facebook.com/Funkatopia. That's Facebook.com/Funkatopia. You can also go to YouTube, youtube.com/Funkatopia, FUNKATOPIA. And if you miss any part of the show, you can tune in afterwards on iHeartRadio, on Spotify, on all of the sound channels. So you're going to be everywhere. So everything that we do here is not going to be lost. So if you miss any part of the show, you can all tune in there. And but it again, just as Jeff said, it is a complete and utter honor. I don't even know which one of you to start with here, because it would be like it's like having all the greats in the room together. It's like, where do you even start?
Well, the Henleys, we started singing as kids. We didn't necessarily sing together until we were grown. Each of us had individual thingies going on. Then, and time went by, I met Brenda. At the same time I met Brenda, I married this one back here, Homer. And then we had this one right here, Cam. And everybody is connected. We're all connected. We're all connected. We're all family. Now Homer is the author of the song that Brenda did, Ain't Understanding Mellow, with Jerry Butler.
Yes. Nice.
Right here. That's me. He's the writer.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we actually, hold on a second. For those that don't remember, for those that forgot that song,
Wow.
There you go. If you guys remember that song, we don't want to play it too much because YouTube or Facebook will kick us off. But I'll give you a little bit of taste of,
just a sprinkle,
just to take you back, just a little bit. Oh yeah. Oh, it's making me feel some sort of way. Okay, let's go ahead and pull it down.
Now you started off and you said that the Henleys, you guys were already singing as kids, and then of course when your kids singing, things happen and people start doing different things. So kind of what was the path? Like what actually happened that had you guys moving along and then coming back together to sing? Because I know that a lot of things happened when you were doing your own thing, but eventually you started coming back together to work together even more. Because I've seen pictures of you guys all together doing your thing, so you can't tell us otherwise.
Well, back in high school, we each went to high school at either different time or different high school, and we each had our own groups in high school, and so we would sing, and we would check each other's shows out, and then eventually we was all gonna say, one of these days we're gonna sing together. And me and Bob ended up going to Grambling College together, and that's when we first started singing together, when we formed a group called the Unforgettables. And we sang around the campus and around the college tour. And it was right about the time when the Commodores were coming out. And they was going to pit us against the Commodores back then that day. That's how far it goes back. But it never happened. But we was the two top groups down in the South.
Wow.
And so we evolved from that and eventually came out to California, and we started our own group.
Wow.
I came to California first. Then Rob followed. Then Ron followed. And that's when we started singing together.
And as we started singing together in California, we started off singing R&B. And we had a pretty good time doing that. We did a few shows here and there. And it eventually evolved into back into the gospel scene again as we entered a church called Understanding Principles for Better Living, which was headed by the Reverend Dr. Della Reese Lett. And you know what Della Reese I'm talking about, right, guys?
Oh, yeah.
that was our pastor and our mentor, and we started singing together then at the church.
But even our first show that we did together, because Patti was already singing with Smokey Robinson, he came to our show. And then he heard the three of us sing. And me and Bob got hired right away. So the three of us sang behind Smokey Robinson.
Yes. Wow. That's and how did your career start with not your career, but Patti, your career with Smokey?
It's awesome. I was auditioning for Marvin actually, and as it would be, I didn't get the Marvin thing, right? But the day they told me I didn't get it, the next morning I got a call from Smokey because I happened to know some of the guys in the band and started working with him. It was on a Friday, and by that next Tuesday, I was on the road with him.
Wow.
He had started writing. We were writing songs with his sister, Rosella Jones. And Rosella Jones wrote a couple of songs on for Smokey. Silent Partners and A Three Love Will Break. Second That Emotion. What is it? And several other songs she wrote with for Smokey. And Pepe, Homer, he collaborated with her. And it was double, triple connection there.
Wow. Now, as part of the research, before your appearance here, I found a lot of recordings, I was trying to find, recordings of the Piperettes of Freedom. And I was finding a lot of SCLC Operation Breadbasket Orchestra and choir stuff with that was like official releases. Were you involved in any of that?
Yeah, we were. There's a song called What a Friend We Have with the orchestra, and that's the Piperettes that are doing the vocals on that track. It's on the album.
Ah, fantastic. Yeah, I wish I would have known because I wish I had some of the credits that were listed because I found like a lot of those tracks that were just loose on YouTube for some reason or another. And I was like, I wish I could see the credits of this because I'd like to be able to surprise you guys with some tracks. But oh my, that's
yeah, you would have surprised me if you had played that.
All right, Jeff, that sounds like a challenge.
I know, right?
I'm going to let you ask the next question and see if I can surprise you.
Everybody knows I love trivia.
So while you guys were working with the Piperettes and doing your movements, how many different locations did you go to as the Piperettes, and where was it as far as safety? How did that get handled?
Good question. we were responsible, well, not responsible, but we took part in helping to get mayors elected all over the country. We went to New Jersey and campaigned and walked the streets and sang as the Piperettes with Reverend Jackson. And New Jersey, Kenneth Gibson got him elected. We went to Cleveland for Carl Stokes. We went to Washington, D.C. for Walter Conroy. His name is Fondroy.
And in case you don't know those names are names of the first African American mayors and congressmen. What was it? Cleveland Stokes.
Carl Stokes was the very
was
first
yes
Black mayor, and we did both his. He was elected twice, so we did the first and the second one, and then Mayor Hatcher in Indiana, and
wow.
And we would get up. We would get up and do rallies with the band, with the orchestra, and Reverend Jackson early in the mornings. We'd go into town. We'd go into Cleveland, say, and we'd get up and we'd be singing in the rain. We actually climb on top of buses and sing. And after we sang, it ended up around 9:30. Then we took to the streets, and we'd go from door to door, asking people to get out and vote. Some people would be like, yeah, I don't know. And we would I would get a little adamant. Look, I've come all the way from Chicago to help you get your mayor elected. So you need to come on out here and go and vote. Here's, and they did, and we won every single time. And I say we only because we were such an integral part of that, of that movement and of that time, and much more interesting things.
Wow.
And Jeff had asked, there was a part of that question I was really interested in was the security part of things, because,
Right.
you're kind of going into towns, and I don't know how many towns this consisted of as far as, everything that you visited. That's part of the question, I guess, too, is everywhere that you toured, but also, you're kind of going into these towns and you're
Non-violent.
not violently, but you're also protesting against businesses, which I imagine had a little bit of conflict or the potential of conflict as you're kind of going into these cities. And did any of that kind of show itself at any point?
Yeah,
Tell them, Patty.
most definitely. This is really interesting. This is the subject matter of a play that Brenda and I have called Friends Like You and Me. Okay. And we tell all these stories. And there was a story once when we had to actually be escorted out of town by sundown because there was a curfew. There had been a huge rally for a hospital strike in South Carolina. And we were there singing and rallying and protesting and all that. And there was a curfew. And so it was getting to be dusk. And we knew that we were supposed to get out of town or we would be arrested. So there were some policemen, off-duty Black policemen who had formed, a unit, and Black Men Moving, which was an arm of SCLC, Breadbasket men, and they whisked us out of there on the bus to the airport, and they got on the plane. And that was one thing. There was another time when we were even in Chicago at a meeting, what was called the meeting, which would happen every Saturday morning. And in comes, I don't know if you've ever heard of this gang called the Blackstone Rangers. And their head was Jeff Ford, right? And so they all came in. It was about 300 of them. And they lined the walls. And they brought with them their war, what was his name? Their war counselor or whatever they call. He had a great big old headdress on and all this. And, we're sitting up there with Reverend Jackson, and at any moment, anything could have went crazy. We never thought about any of that.
We were too young and naive.
We didn't think about it.
We just wanted to make a difference. And down through the years, that's what we wanted to
they
do.
were a dangerous gang back then.
Yes.
And one of the two of the largest gangs in Chicago.
Wow.
But then we had the Friends on the other side. We had the Black Panthers, and Fred Hampton and Mark Clark would come to the meetings with us. And Fred Hampton was just the exquisite,
So dynamic. Yeah.
so dynamic at 21 years old.
Yes.
I'm like, how did this boy get all of this knowledge and all of this charisma at 21 years old?
Right.
And we just adored them. We adored them both.
Hey, look at all the men like that. You know, Fred Hampton. I mean, he died very, very young. Same thing with Malcolm X. It's just like when that type of knowledge or somebody who's committed to a cause is just so passionate about their vision of how things should be. It's just you can feel it. It's the charisma that comes through. It's just like you're standing in front of these people, and as they're talking, you're just like absorbed into everything that they're saying. And it's just, there's very, very few people. And I mean, the fact of the matter is that you guys were just embedded in that.
And we really didn't realize it.
Right.
You know, when you're in it, you know, we didn't have any fear. We weren't afraid.
Just wanted to do the work.
We just had a good time singing.
So let me ask you this. You mentioned Friends Like You and Me that play. Is that readily available somewhere? Where can people research that and watch it and learn something from it?
Well, we have not, it's not available yet. As a matter of fact, when the pandemic came, it shut a bunch of stuff down, and we were getting ready to do a run. We had done about 3 or 4 different runs, but we were getting ready to do a run where we would have filmed everything, and you would. And so hopefully, we're planning for 2022 to start up again.
Awesome. You've got to let us know when that comes up, so we can let all of our listeners know as well.
And you can also bring us to Atlanta. You know, we'd love to come down there.
Oh, heck yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. We'll figure out.
And a place to stay, because my brother
my
just
brother
lives up
is
the road.
That's right. The Henleys over here in the Sutherland.
Yeah. So let's see. Does the Henleys have like open space if they come to town? You got like beds and.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We definitely do.
I'm looking at your wall back here. You got some historic pictures back here. I see some black and white sketches and whatnot. So
this is our cafe we have here. We me and my wife, we also have the Hayden Bryce Cafe, which we have our own coffee. And we're in the cafe right now. We have the fireplace and everything. It's going to turn into a winter wonderland in about a week.
Is this cafe available to the public? Can Jeff and I come and have a cup of coffee? I mean,
let me tell you, while you're saying that in joke form, this coffee, the Hayden Bryce brand, is off the charts good. It is really that good, and they roast it themselves. They handle their business with this coffee. So the first time I tried it, I was blown away, and it was like, I've got to have more. And I bought bags of it to take with me. I bought bags from the company I was working at. It was like, I've got to have more. So I'm telling you, this is good stuff.
I don't understand why you've kept this secret from me, Jeff.
It's not a secret. We're breaking out too. 2022 is going to be big time.
Just to let you know, Jeff is part of the Henley connection as well. I don't know if he's told you anything, but Ron and I own the Ron Irvin Entertainment Group, and we hold PS, which is Private Society, where we bring in new artists and artists who are releasing and trying out new singles. And Jeff is our little brother. he comes over and
helps out with everything.
With lighting, everything. He's just part of the furniture, actually.
And it all happens right here. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Jeff, you got to bring some coffee over. I'm just I feel like left out now. This is insane.
We'll send it to you.
I get you.
I can come get it.
That's fine.
So, Ron, I mean, while we have you, on camera here, listening to some of these stories that Patti and Brenda are sharing, what does this look like to you from, kind of from outside the bubble a little bit, and, concern for well-being of family members and stuff? I mean, what does this look like to you? What is this picture for you?
As far as what now? The picture?
just just every just looking at all the things that Patti was involved in. I mean, what I know how just your perception of it.
Well, me and Bob, we were right there also. So I mean, it's all in the same house. See, our mother was heavily involved in the politics of equality for blacks. So she would have meetings over her house, and sometimes they have flyers to go and pass out for different meetings and different things. They would drop me and Bob off in a neighborhood, and we have to pass them out. We got so tired of we was giving bunches of people here. You just take these and go somewhere. We were involved in the civil rights movement from our parents.
Indeed, indeed, we were. As they used to make the picket signs at our house.
Yeah,
and we were. I remember going past the gauntlet line trying to get into a segregated school and all of that. So we were involved in the movement. Just as our older sisters were also.
Yeah, see, our mother was a true activist, and all her friends, all her colleagues were activists, and they'd be at our house, and they'd be making the picket signs, and we'd be right there with them, hammering the picket signs to go out and do whatever it was happening locally in Chicago.
Mm.
Wow. So Cam, I got a question for you. As you're, and of course, Cam, as you start to learn a little bit about the history of your mom, so how have you integrated that into what you do musically in your performance? Are you continuing on her legacy? What's give us a little bit of your background on what you're doing right now.
Oh, definitely. I can't help but integrate. I'm surrounded by all of these talented people.
Yeah, so you better.
Yeah, exactly. I have to. No, but I can't help it. I get a little bit from everybody, and I definitely want to continue the legacy of their vocal abilities and try to be as good as they are, because they're my inspirations. The Henleys, my Uncle Brown and Bob, and my mom and my Aunt Brenda. I get to hear all of these voices, and
he's already phenomenal.
Have somewhere to shoot for. You know what I mean? So
let him tell you about the amazing trip that he did. Him and his fellas, they walked across America.
Right.
Say something about that, Cam.
What now? Oh, we got to hear about that.
We didn't really tell you anything about that, but yeah, in 2006, a few buddies of mine, we planned this trip to walk across the country. It's actually my buddy Kevin. He's from Pennsylvania, and he had the idea to walk from Pennsylvania to LA. He never did it, but he came out to LA, and one day he was talking about it. We were hanging out. We all worked doing production work, and so he said it one day, and I thought, yo, I want to do that. I'm down for that. Now, when somebody says they're going to walk across the country, you don't really think they're going to do it.
Well, that you have to do it with them.
So when I said, I want to do it, like the idea of it was like, I want to do it. But
it sounded real good.
I didn't think it was going to, but Kevin was dead serious. And so every day I would go hang out. He would have more and more information of, I mapped it out from here to here. I mapped it out half the way. I mapped out the whole trip day by day. And it just started looking more and more real. So 2006, April 1st, me and it started out with 5 other people, but we all started walking from Venice Beach, and we said that we're going to take the whole year to walk, and so we took that year to walk from Los Angeles to New York City. Now we filmed it all. We had it all on YouTube. There's tons of videos on there, and me and my buddy Kevin are actually recapping the entire thing. Right now, every Thursday, we release an episode that's basically going along the trail. We started April 1st this year, recapping the whole episode, recapping the whole trip. And so we're basically where we were on the trip at this time in real time kind of thing.
And so, what's the website?
If you go to theillumination.tv on YouTube, it's tons of videos. It's theillumination.tv. The United Souls. We were called the United Souls of Awareness.
Oh, I love that.
Okay.
And we were spreading awareness. Yeah, we were spreading awareness across the country. So, we were all artists and musicians, and we wanted to basically take our art and all of our music and all of that stuff, and just move across the country. We kind of started to see at that time where technology was going. We realized that, you know, you can pick up and go. You don't need to come to Hollywood just to become a star. You could go anywhere. You could do it from anywhere. You can do it from YouTube. And at that time, YouTube was just kind of budding, and we were utilizing it. We were utilizing YouTube to post our videos. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, you know, we're at, I think we're in Iowa right now. So it's a pretty interesting, you know, series to watch. And, you know, you can follow along as the rest of the year goes, but we're going to get all the way to New York by April of next year. You'll watch it all right there.
Awesome. That, of course, leads to another question that I have as far as taking a walk across America with states, the hidden racism that exists. Taking this walk, what did you come across? Because we already know what your family, your parents went through, and now you're doing something at a whole different era.
Yeah.
And I know you're facing it or had to face it. So what kind of scenarios was that like?
You know what, man? It's interesting that you asked that, because I definitely thought that, you know, before we left, like once we get to certain parts of the country, what it was going to be like. But, you know, our whole energy and our whole message was we wanted to spread positivity. So we would kind of attract that. You know, we had maybe one or two incidents that had nothing to do with what you would think, like the typical thing. It was just a regular, you know, like, oh, this wasn't a great situation. But it was never, I really was wondering about that. And if it was some, it was so subtle that it just didn't enter our space. Like, we're a very, very mixed group, you know, different group cultures and stuff like that. So I don't know what we might have looked like walking, but when people were driving on the road and they saw 4 guys walking on the side of the road, and they're just like, what's this going on here? You know, yeah. So
in the car.
Yeah, we didn't hit a lot of the things that I would think. Like, South Dakota was probably one of the coolest places. I'd never been to there, and I just thought, I don't know what to expect when we get there, but one of the coolest places. Every place we went to that people said, oh, you're going to get something here, it was the complete opposite. So now this was also 15 years ago. Okay, this was 2006. So The climate was a little different, but you know.
You had to know that I had the prayer warriors on the line.
Oh, heck yeah.
I bet you did.
There's something to be said about having a specific type of energy, you know, vibration coming out of your body. And when you move, people cannot help but to move with you or away from you.
Correct.
That's exactly
So
what
that's
I
awesome.
remember him telling me stories of how he got help, how they got help on the road, and positive things going on for them.
Yeah, I sent the money. That's how you got help.
I
said, where are you now? Okay.
Now, I am interested in hearing a little bit from Homer. He's really like mysteriously quiet back there.
I love that hat too.
You gonna start it up?
We're gonna start it up. Here we go. We're revving the engines.
Well, the one thing I can say is Brenda, Pat, and one of their late friends, Susan Conway, and the other girl, Lois Scott. They did do a lot of work with Roberta Flack.
I forgot about that.
Right, forgot about that.
But I got to tell you one thing about them. These 3 ladies, I saw them sing separately one time, and I think I said at the time, y'all too bad to be together. And each one of them had their own little way of singing, you know. And they eventually wound up doing exactly that. Brenda went with a very dear friend of mine, Jerry Butler, and Patti, and my friend of mine who's also passed her show, who wrote the song "Ain't No Sentimental" with us, did the demo on it.
It's so interesting how Brenda and I have been friends for 50 years.
Wow.
50 years.
Long time.
And so I did the demo of the song he wrote for her.
I eventually did do some productions on Smokey Robinson and Jerry Butler at Motown, so I was one of their producers too. So,
Oh, I think we lost Ron. We lost Ron in them. I think they dropped off.
I think we did.
Hopefully they'll be back. They'll be back.
To get some coffee.
And make sure you get some coffee, folks.
Yes, the brew in a pot. The brew in a pot for sure. Now I know that there was a movie created that talks about, Patti and Brenda's journey that was released last year called Soul Sisters. That was directed by Peter von Puttkamer. Has this movie been officially released on DVD, or is it available on a streaming service somewhere? Or is it something that got caught up in the pandemic also?
It got caught up, but soon it'll be. We're just about done, and it'll be done.
Peter von Puttkamer, he's probably watching right now. Yes, he's a Canadian documentarian, an award-winning Canadian documentarian, and he's worked with National Geographic and many of the different companies. And he just took a liking to us.
Yeah.
And he got it. He heard our story.
He understood.
And he started to film us everywhere we went. So we're still pushing it. We're still developing it. And, we're looking for a network, a company.
You said he took a liking to you guys as if that's some amazing thing. Like, who wouldn't take a liking to you?
I think we're making fans as this broadcast is going. I'm just like watching all the comments.
Some people are ready to order their coffee from the
right. All these hearts and loves and where can we get coffee? Yes, all this stuff. Jill Don Francisco says hearing how the cobblestones were put down from way back is amazing. Yes, these are the stories in history that is so important. Yes, we're seeing all these fantastic comments from all these people. Of course, Crystal says Patti is a whole vibe.
That's Ron's daughter. That's Ron's daughter.
So, I mean, now what I find interesting about this is now, first off, Patti, I know that you're a playwright in your own regard. Did you have any hand in sculpting the script for this documentary at all that Peter's doing?
Well, both of us did. We're both we're co-producers with him, and the storyline that he's using is actually our lives.
Right.
It's just what we went through together. And so we've given him a lot of information, and the play that we do is sort of the documentary is sort of derived from that.
So ultimately, did you pitch this or did he come to you? Like, how did that?
Well, through another friend of ours, Ken Goldstein. Let me tell you how this happened. Ken called me for a session. Of course, I called Patti. I said, come do this session for me, with me. And I said, doesn't pay anything. It's because it's my friend. I just want you to do it. And she came. We never say no to each other. And she came and we did the session. And there was Peter there. And he somehow got wind of what we do and who we were and all this. And he said, I think this would make a great documentary. And, Patti and I go, okay. And he came back with another meeting, a formal meeting a couple of days later. And so he says, yes, I can get this film done. And it's going to be great. And we're in it. Let's do it. So they still remember them standing on the porch. So Ken and Peter are standing on the porch. And we're walking away after the meeting. And I tell Patti, don't look back. Don't look back. Whatever you do, don't look back. Don't look back. And we're walking like this. and I said, wait till we turn the corner. Wait until we turn the corner. And the moment we turned that corner, we fell out on the ground. We were like, what?
Right.
We enjoy each other's successes so much. And we
oh, wait, what is this? This is What a Friend We Have in Jesus with the Piperettes of Freedom.
That's right. Oh my God.
How did you find that?
This is Funkatopia Live. We're gonna find stuff.
I mean, we will find it all.
Now, Peter, I know you're watching.
Look at that. It's right there. We found it.
Oh my God, I don't believe that.
Every
Unbelievable.
single time that you saw me looking off to the left, that's what I've been trying to do the whole time. You gave me a chance. I told you it's gonna make it happen.
Oh my goodness.
I'll make sure that I get it to you guys.
Please.
Thank you.
They try to get back on. It's Ron and Chris trying to get back.
Ron and Chris said they're trying to get back on.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we have. Yeah, I'm sure it's the connection issue because once they get back on, we'll see them down here in the waiting room. We'll bring them back in.
Yeah, we'll bring them back in.
Yeah, just so you know, that clip that I found was on a UK website called If Music, IF, like if I did this, ifmusic.co.uk. And I just searched for the Operation Breadbasket Orchestra, and they had clips from. It's actually an album that they have sound clips for, but it's sold out. It's all sold out. They still have the clips online, so you can listen. So
We haven't received a dime.
so it doesn't matter. You know, what happens is that the people collect these. The collectors, will get these, and then they sell it amongst themselves, and it's not like but yeah, we got it. There it is. Unbelievable.
Please.
Unbelievable. Bet that takes you back.
Oh
Yeah. That is wonderful.
That's great. I was so glad I just found it. That just made my night.
Wow, it's made
You
ours
have
too.
made my year. Oh my goodness.
I'll make sure that I get that over to Jeff so he can get it to you guys. We'll
Yeah,
figure
absolutely.
out how to get it. We'll make it
We'll make sure you get it. So you guys, again, we went through this really partial piece of the laundry list of artists and those that you've worked with.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of have a specific question. I want to pose it to Patti first, and then we're going to kind of pose the same thing to Brenda. And I'm going to say some names. And then what I want to know is I'm looking for a recap of your experience of working with these artists.
Mm-hmm.
So Patti, first, you mentioned Marvin Gaye.
Mm-hmm.
We know that you've worked with Michael Jackson, James Brown, Tower of Power.
Yes.
Roberta Flack.
Mm-hmm.
So many.
And so
Now, Roberta, we can stop right there.
Yeah.
Roberta, Brenda and I are the Piperettes.
Right.
Okay. She hired us. That was our first professional
Very first.
gig.
Wow.
Wow.
She took us to New York City
And Washington, D.C.
and Washington, D.C. And we were like
Oh my God.
the, I want to say country bumpkins.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. We were like,
New York City, just how I imagined it. It was an awesome experience.
Yeah.
And we went to her house. This was like our first really professional.
Right.
Went to her house where she hired a wardrobe person that came and brought all these wardrobe clothes to her house. And she wardrobed us, and then we bought clothes, and then we toured, and we, hey, it was fabulous.
It was.
Roberta Flack.
right.
Right. So when you worked with James Brown, what was that experience like?
Well, it was during Motown 25, Motown at the Apollo 25. And I had been there working with Smokey. And we had been there a whole week, right? Because it was a long taping and so forth. And all of the groups were there, the Temptations, the Four Tops, everybody was there. The Jackson 5, all of them were there. And so we were there and we backed up Smokey. So my singing partner, Ivory Stone, right? She and I, New York was our shopping place. You know, like when we get to New York, we're gonna shop. So when we got done with smoking, we like, cool, let's go back to the hotel and we're gonna change our clothes and go out shopping. When we get back to the hotel, we get this phone call, and the phone call says, you all got to come right back. You got to come right back. James Brown needs some backup singers. We was like, oh my God, James Brown? Oh my goodness. So we hurried up, we got in a taxi, and we ran, got back to the Apollo, and we get there in the car, we said to ourselves, we don't know James Brown songs. So we went on there and we got there, and there was backstage Mr. Brown, which is what we were told to call him. We were not to approach him or anything like that. And we sang, we went over into a little corner. He had one of the backup singers there, and she taught us all the stuff in about 10 minutes. And we put our wardrobe on and went out there and sang all the James Brown songs. And when you look at it, when I look at it now, I crack up because some of it, I know I'm not singing the right words.
This is I was looking at this. This is actually James Brown live at the Apollo. I'm wondering and I also meant this is like one of them that I had, but you were mentioning Roberta Flack. This is one of my all-time favorite albums right here. Roberta Flack and Donnie Hathaway. Oh my God.
Yeah, we worked with Donnie.
Now, Donnie.
Wait a minute. You had Donnie in the list too?
Oh no, I have a. So you know, Donnie is my brother Bob's favorite singer. And he was a huge influence.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Huge influence on Rob's singing style.
Yeah, I had a chance to meet him in Chicago, and he came to one of the shows that my band and my brother, we were in the same band, and he came to check this out, and then they gave us free tickets because they liked us so much. They gave us free tickets to come see him, and we saw him and met him, and that was a wonderful time in my life. Getting a chance to meet my mentor.
Wow. I have a Donnie Hathaway story I think you might like.
Yes.
Yes.
The Piperettes were going to rehearse with Donnie, and I got to his house first. So he was sitting at the piano, eating a jar, eating honey right out of the jar. And he said, while we're waiting for the girls, he says, I've got a song I'm thinking about recording. So I want you to listen to it and tell me, what do you think of it? Do you think it's a hit? And so that's okay. He puts this Farfisa, that's back in the day when they had these pianos that you strap on your shoulders and play them like a guitar. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he strapped it on and he started sang the song down. And he said, what do you think? I said, boy, if you don't cut this song, I said, that's one of the biggest songs you're ever going to hear in your life. And bam, there it was.
And then when the other girls got here, when we got there, we did the demo for This Christmas.
Wow. Unbelievable.
We all the co-writer.
And the co-writer, yes.
Is our friend.
It's our friend, Nadine McKenna.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Just the amount of rabbit holes that we can go down talking about.
I tell you.
Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh. This is amazing.
We all got rabbit hole stories.
Oh, yeah.
And we were talking, I was talking with a keyboardist and vocalist you may or may not be familiar with. His name is Nigel Hall. And he is he's an amazing performer. And we were talking about, there was one show that he did where it was all, he did like redid Intervisions, performed it live for Stevie Wonder. And I was talking about Stevie Wonder and I was like, man, you really must love Stevie Wonder. And he was like, I do love Stevie, but Stevie got his style in the 70s from Donnie Hathaway. And I had never thought about it like that. I had never thought that, because Stevie did. And I went back and immediately listened to Stevie's discography, and and I never realized this before, but you can tell the distinct difference of what happened to Stevie during Intervisions and Music of My Mind. And it was a really distinct change in his delivery once Donnie came onto the scene, it was like he really was a big influence on Stevie's
He
style.
was inspired by like all of us.
Well, yeah, you know, whatever the contemporary artists of the day, the
Yeah.
ones that are the big ones, they're influential, and rest of us, like Aretha Franklin was
Yes,
our inspiration,
Queen.
you know, and so Stevie would have been influenced by him for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, there was
Like,
a big tone set.
T-Pain inspired all the auto tune going on these days. You know what I mean?
That's right.
It
Right.
Which I
At whatever level they do it at, it's definitely T-Pain.
which I might add in his defense, T-Pain is an incredible singer. I was actually shocked
Wow.
that he hides behind auto-tune, because I guess it was like the second season of The Masked Singer. T-Pain was on, he was in a mask, nobody knew who he was, and he was this incredible vocalist, and he took off the mask and it was T-Pain. We're like, why are you using auto-tune when you have a voice like that? What is going on?
He made
So-
a hit with it. So he was like, all right, I won't
Yeah,
turn
the
away from
formula-
this. I'm going to stay on
formula
this.
works. The
Yeah,
formula
whatever
works.
works. Unbelievable. Yeah, but I don't want to talk about T-Pain. But I mean, to continue on with Jeff's discussion, Patti, let's talk about your work with Stevie. How'd you get involved with him and some of the background on that?
Well, we first met Stevie in Chicago early on when Reverend Jackson had this event that was called
Black Expo.
the Black Expo, right?
Mm.
And it was a conglomeration of Black business owners, and they would come and they would set up booths and so forth. And it was a 2 or 3 day event. And along with that, he had entertainment. And so all of Motown came one night. All Isaac Hayes came on another night. Different ones, all these different ones would come. And we backed up Stevie on those shows right there. Now, later in my life, we were just on the same touring circle with him, with Smokey. And so we would be shows together. And I think I did something in the studio once for Stevie. Yes, we did. A song that he and Smokey did together. And so I sang on that. But Stevie was always in the mix. You just would, the Motown family, you'd always see all of them every now and then. You know?
Right.
Well, it's just incredible. And let me just go ahead and say, I'm going to kind of bounce around a little bit here, Jeff, because you know that a massive part of our fan base are Prince fans. So Brenda, we're going to move to you just for a second.
Yes.
Because we need to know.
Gotta know.
Inquiring minds want to know exactly how you got involved with Prince and also writing these tunes. You actually did two. Somebody, and
You are smart. Oh,
and I want to make sure. I want to clear this with you first. It's somebody, and there was another song, but I want to make sure that you even want me to mention what this other song is, because
you can, but let me tell you, that was not my original title.
Oh, that's good then. Okay. All right.
Original title.
Let's start with somebody, and then we'll get to the other one.
Well, I'm going to make this quick. I had written some songs and sent to Mavis Staples because they had recorded some of my songs before. And Prince was recording her. When I sent her the songs, they had finished the album. So he didn't even look at the songs or anything until later. And then I get a call maybe a year later, and she's whispering on the phone. She said, "Brent, this Mavis, girl, Prince in his office, and he reading your lyrics, girl." And she said, "He asked me to call you and said, do you have any more lyrics? Please send them." He said, "Because you're one of the best lyricists he's come across." And so I put a bunch of songs and lyrics in there and sent them to him. And next thing he did was Somebody, which I wrote in 20 minutes because it was my life at the time.
Some of the greatest songs written quick because it happens in the inspiration. You wake up in the middle of the night and you're just like, it's happening. It's like sometimes just God just lays it on you, and the spirit hits you, and you're just like, this I've got to just dump it on paper, and that's how it happened. But
He asked me after he'd recorded the song if I approved of what he did.
Wow.
And
Do you hear me? He was wondering if I approved of the final mix. Like, you could have done anything you wanted to. I would have approved. But yeah, I adored him, and I couldn't believe that. You know, the first time I heard that record, I was in a gym, and I was on this, you know, the treadmill. And across in the gym came somebody. I freaked out. I wanted to tell Edna, I've had 10 records before, but I wanted to tell everybody, I love this one. This is Brenda singing songs that I wrote, and it's coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, it's just
It was amazing. It's still amazing to me. But now, Hide the Bone. That's the name of the other song. You know, we had never write
yeah. We only got to do a little clip because
Can't do it too long.
yeah, Facebook has this thing where, hey, that's copyrighted music, and then they we got to be real careful. But yeah, so the other song is Hide the Bone. And I was thinking, certainly, if you're looking at two individual pieces of lyrics, you're not thinking this is written by the same person.
Yeah,
But you just informed me that wasn't the original title.
Yeah, the original title was Playing Hard to Get.
Okay.
That's
I don't see that transition to the song.
You gotta listen to the song. He didn't change anything. He didn't change any of the lyrics.
Oh, okay. So the time. Okay, so the song was basically the same, but
Yeah.
okay. All right, I understand.
Wait.
wow.
Yeah, and of course, you know, this is just one of these songs. It's just debaucherous in its own way, because Prince made it that way. I mean, you know, Hide the Bone is a lot of people's favorite. Matter of fact, our other co-host, Rob Rhythm, who is not with us this evening, he said that's one of his all-time favorite songs. So it's just one of these songs that's just it's just got this energy to it, and it's so fantastic. Oh, look, we got the Henleys back. Henleys are back in the mix. They're back. And they're horizontal now, which is great. There they are. Oh, it's perfectly all right. It's perfectly all right. But yeah, so I know a lot of people wanted to hear that story. A lot of people wanted to understand exactly how exactly who was behind the songs. And and did you ever get an opportunity to meet Prince and kind of, did he ever shake hands with you or anything? Or
I met him prior to that. And I don't know if you ever put those together. I was singing at a club with a jazz band, and he just walked up in the club and said, "Can I play with you guys?" And he picked up one of the guys' guitar and played and jammed with us. But you know, I didn't say, "Oh, I'm Brenda Vieger, I'm nothing." I didn't do that. I was just like, "Yeah, come on." But he knows who I am now. I mean, he knew.
So he performed with you, but he didn't put the two together that you were the same person who wrote Somebody.
Exactly.
Wow. That's almost like a Claire Fisher story, isn't it, Jeff?
That's completely.
Yeah. For you that don't know, Claire Fisher was the person who wrote pretty much the whole string orchestra.
Andre Fisher's
Uncle.
Yeah, so Claire Fisher, he wrote all the orchestration on most of Prince's albums, but Prince and him, for like many albums, and Prince and him have never ever met, ever. And Claire passed away. Well, both of them passed away now, but Claire passed away, and they never got an opportunity to shake hands or be in the same room or anything. But that's almost very, very similar to what happened to you. You wrote 2 songs for him, and he didn't even know. He was standing right there. Unbelievable. I'm glad that we got I'm glad that we got the Henleys back in the mix. Thank you guys for coming back in, Ron and the crew.
Yeah, it was rough. It was rough. We had to have the surgeons out. I don't know what happened. The internet or something went down. Okay.
Yeah,
But we're back. We're back. We're back.
Oh, well, you know, so Ron, want to talk, you know, a little bit about, you know, what some of the things that you're doing right now. Let's talk about something that you're doing, because I guess we want to make sure that everybody gets an opportunity to kind of promote what they want to promote, because I know there's so many things that are going on, and everybody here wants to know how we can, you know, help or be actively involved in this.
In whatever it is you got going on.
Whatever it is that you guys are doing.
Yeah, well, as you know, me and Chris, we're here in Atlanta, Metro Atlanta. We're in Swanee, and we have our entertainment company, which we were doing a lot of live shows here, and allowing people to test their music out to a crowd. Of course, when the pandemic came, it shut down our operation. And so now we've got other projects we're trying to get back up, and that's one of the things that we want to do. You want to say something with the company?
Oh, well, with PS
Yes.
Private Society, what it is
Speaking loud.
Can you hear?
Oh, yeah, you're fine.
Okay. What it is we would send out a text to personal people, because a lot of the people that were involved were like head vice presidents from certain record companies, radio stations, magazines, and so that it wouldn't be so blown up to just public, hence private society. We would send out a text, and it would say you're invited, and it would only have a time and a date on there. And if you were on the roster and you knew about it, you would call in and say where, and then you would find out where it was being held. And mostly we started it off here at the Henley Manor, and because we have 2 floors actually in which we hold entertainment going on with live bands and everything. Somebody tried to call it a speakeasy one time, but it's not.
Yeah, that's a little bit different, right?
And,
yeah.
Yeah, and also the Henleys have written songs that we're starting to put back together. So we've been collaborating with some young producers to upgrade the sound and the tracks that we'll be releasing next year. So I've been working with those folks. I got some people in Jersey and Virginia. We got here in Atlanta that is working on the project. So we got some projects coming up.
I might have to start, Jeff. I might have to start talking to them. I'm actually in Lawrenceville, not too far from where you guys are.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I come by and have a sandwich.
You are coming by.
I'm gonna get coffee before I do.
If you give me your address, I'm going to end up coming there every morning for coffee. So
yeah, right. We'll be looking out the window. Here he comes again.
But we were, because I actually had something very, very similar, a project that I actually started many years ago. I still own the domain name. I had the domain name called bookandhire.com, which was, I was, you know, trying to get a collective of bands and performers that were in the state of Georgia. Actually, I tried to do it countrywide, but that was ended up being the demise of it. But it was just to kind of support and promote bands and you know, kind of give them an opportunity to actually perform, and obviously was trying to figure out, you know, a profit motive behind it as well. But but yeah, I mean, there maybe there's got to be something there. I would love to, you know, work with you guys. We'll want to talk about that, because it's all about supporting artists and musicians, and that would be
right.
Now I don't know if Bob or Patti has mentioned it while we was gone, but we're trying to put together our own production, so we can have our channel also. That we're going to have different artists come and perform on our channel. Since we have folks from all across the country. Me and Chris, we were in the airline business. We've retired from that now, but we were stationed in Jersey. So I know a lot of musicians in Jersey and New York.
Me too.
So we're gonna feature all these people on our show that we're trying to put together. The Henleys are putting together this show that will be aired sometime next year.
Yeah, I'm with you. I know a lot of folks up there too. I'm from Hunterdon County originally, so.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Smack in the middle of Jersey. So yes, what are you guys following me?
Wow.
You said we was in the airline business. We can go anywhere we want to go.
And while we got this screen up, Kat, what are you up to now? What are some of the things you're doing? I know you're doing some vocal coach stuff, and you're still doing some music writing and singing and stuff. Let us know.
Oh yeah.
I am. I'm presently working on a few quiet projects.
Okay.
So we'll see what, we always have to see what happens in the end. So
you let us know when you want to be loud about it, you know where to find us.
Okay, most definitely.
Yes.
And I'll just sling this out there. If someone happens to be looking for a vocal coach, Kat Sutherland is a killer vocal coach, and she will beat you up. So that's what you're into.
He's one of my students as well.
Yeah. She's being really quiet about she's saying backup for many groups out there.
Funkadelics.
There you go. Funkadelics.
Well, she's not telling the story.
Well, but actually, I've been really blessed. I had a lot of mentors throughout my lifetime. Rodney Trotter, just so knows from back. He definitely was Mr. Funk. He did Flashlight back in the day. Jeff had the opportunity to meet him. I introduced Jeff to Mr. Trotter. And Major Harris is one of my mentors. Delphonics, of course. They're like my big daddies coming up. William Hart. And of course, my diehard camp will always be Unique Productions from Virginia Beach. I learned so much from those guys. Shout out to DeValbo McKenzie and Sprague Duke. I mean, I learned from everybody, everywhere. That's my heart, and always will be my home camp in Virginia.
And Kat has her own studio also, where she's working on many projects, and she comes over here and brings half a studio over our house, and we're collaborating with some different things too. So she's constantly working, and she's got a lot of projects coming up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, definitely keep us apprised of everything that's going on, because that's what we're about here, is just making sure that we're supporting artistry from all angles. And speaking of which, to kind of get back to Patti and Brenda here, and Homer's still sitting attentive, looking all back there with his hat on and whatnot. But Patti and Brenda, I know that you guys are still actively going to schools and speaking with kids. Is there, if there are schools that want to reach out and get some inspiration, is there some place that they can go to reach out to you in order to kind of get you booked into the schools to speak to the kids?
Yeah, they can just contact us directly.
Yes.
P Henley 203 at gmail.com, and Brenda Lee Music.
Brenda Lee Ager at Gmail. I gotta know that.
There you go.
Yeah,
Brenda Lee Ager at Gmail.
And in the Los Angeles area, they can also reach me through the Music Center. They just call and ask for the I can't remember what the category is, because I do the little Harriet Tubman in schools all over, and I'm booked by the Music Center. They book us to the schools.
Wow, that's
just don't want to forget to mention that the Henleys have a Christmas.
That was the next thing I was about to say.
Yes. The very next thing.
Yes.
The very
It's
next
phenomenal.
It is a Christmas album that I was listening to some of the. I guess Jeff, you had actually sent me a video compilation that kind of showed some clips of some of this stuff that was going, and yeah, absolutely tell them about this Christmas album. I mean, I want to preface this by saying you have musical legends here, and their family that is all involved in this project and has created this incredible Christmas album that is available. Guess what? Just in time for Christmas.
Oh, wow!
And it's coming. Well, I think it's going to be released December
17th.
17th.
The album is ready right now. You can it's streaming on all platforms. You can go to Spotify, Amazon, Tidal, Panda. I don't know, all of the streaming platforms they're on.
And
it's on now.
And is it underneath
the Henley Holiday?
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah. And I like to say that a lot of the tracks that we did were created by a bass player called Larry Ball. He was Smokey Robinson's bass player, and he had a studio in LA, and we collaborated with some of his music and our arrangement to the Christmas songs.
Very good. Yeah, he was very instrumental in the instrumental part of the production, and then we put together our part as far as arranging the vocals. And I think it's a really hot thing. I hear a little bit of it.
And as we trim the tree, how much fun it's gonna be today.
We're prepped for everything here.
Now let me tell you something else about the Henley connection here. That song, This Christmas, that everybody records, we're good friends with the writer, Nadine. And she gave us permission to do that song.
We mentioned that.
Well, y'all mentioned that. Okay. that was when I was blacked out. Okay.
On hiatus for a moment.
Yeah.
One of the things that's interesting about that CD is the arrangement of those classical songs. I mean, classic songs.
Yeah.
And if you just played the music alone, you wouldn't even know that they were Christmas songs until voices come on and you hear that. Oh, that's joy to the world, you know. So I think it's an interesting thing. And I think the listeners will appreciate that and appreciate the way that the arrangements were done.
Yeah, I'm just playing little bits and tracks so people can actually hear it. I don't think Facebook's going to recognize some of this yet because you guys did all these incredible arrangements.
Joy to the world.
There he goes. This is fantastic. Yeah, and so it's available for streaming, but you know, is there a place that they can actually go and purchase it? Because we would rather you make that kind of money as opposed to 0.001 cent per play or whatever it is on Spotify. So,
well, we have, you know, like CDs.
Can we get them on your website or something like that?
You can go get them on iTunes and all the places where you buy music and stuff. I know there's going to be percentages, but yeah, other than that.
Oh, that's well, yeah. So they can actually purchase MP3s and stuff on iTunes. See, we just put Cam on the spot. It's like, oh, I was supposed to get those CDs done yesterday.
And you know, they're in boxes in my attic.
So years ago, we used to pull up the car and open up the trunk and just start selling them. So we haven't done that in years. Yeah.
I still sell my CDs at my shows, and people buy them.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with you guys listening to it on Spotify if you want, but like Cammie says here, as soon as this show is over, I'll be pulling up and getting the Christmas album. It's
all right. Yay!
It is. You can get it on iTunes, as I mentioned, because one of the things, once the show is over, it will be uploaded to. This show will be on Spotify. This show will be on iHeartRadio. So everybody that likes these little tracks that they're hearing here. You want a good soulful Christmas with the Henleys, this is the way to go, and you can get it. You can listen to it on Spotify if you're running a little low on funds, spending all that Christmas money. But you need to support this artistry.
let me jump in and say one other plug for us. The Henley holiday, we have a Christmas special video that's coming out that will be out on December the 19th. And it's in a connection and affiliation with our church. And the church is upchurch.org, upchurch.org. And not this Sunday, but next Sunday, you can go there and you can register there to get your tickets.
Nice. That's it. So it's upchurch.org. Make sure that you head there too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, upchurch.org, that's the church that Reverend Della was our pastor.
Yeah.
She was the founder minister.
Yeah. Yes. And you guys are working a lot with the founder of Agape also.
That's my minister.
With.
Michael Brenda, that's my minister.
And we've all sung there.
Yeah. Patty and I sing that quite often.
Yeah.
That's
So there you go. You need to head to iTunes and make sure that you do not forget the reason for the season and pick up this.
Right.
Now, just so you guys know, our fan base has this thing about tactile music. So they do buy vinyl, they do buy CDs, they love to have physical. So if you do have a scenario where you're releasing that we can actually get our hands on this vinyl and CD, I think that'd be a great thing to share with us too, because we want that.
I can send you some CDs.
Yeah, absolutely do that. We can actually put them on our storefront at funkatopia.com/shop. We can put them in there. We can sell them for you. We can absolutely help you with that. So Cam, go up into the attic, get that box.
Get that box.
You already knew that was going to be
And do it this Christmas.
Yeah, this Christmas.
I'll meet you guys over at Sugarloaf Mills. We'll meet up in the food court or something. Actually, you got to send it to the Henleys first.
Right.
And then
Because I have a few copies, but not enough to circulate to everyone.
Well, we'll make sure it gets taken care of, or we can just take orders for them and just send them to you guys, and then you can just ship them direct.
Yeah.
That'd be perfect. But man, I can't begin to tell you guys how much of an honor it is to have such an impactful and meaningful history of people in one place at one time. This is, I mean, it really is overwhelming. It's just such a blessing that you guys agreed to come on this show, and we can't thank you enough. We really cannot thank you enough.
It's really been a pleasure.
This has been awesome. I mean, again, I love you guys already, and we've met enough times, and I never get tired of the energy. I never get tired of being around you guys. And so
we love you, Jeff.
We love you. We're gonna be doing some things, Jeff.
Yes.
Let me tell you, Jeff, you have the most beautiful speaking. I'm a voice coach also, and so is Patty. And just the resonance and Bob, resonance in your voice and your tone, man, is beautiful. Had to say that.
You broke up. I tried.
All this again.
Did you hear her?
No, it broke up. We didn't hear.
No,
I was thinking something.
it froze a little bit, I think.
Oh, okay. I'm going to do this again, verbatim. Jeff, I'm a vocal coach. Patty's a vocal coach. Bob's a vocal coach. What we hear, or what I hear in your voice, is like music. You have such beautiful tone. Your resonance is open. It's just a wonderful voice. So keep singing. Keep teaching him, sister-in-law.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I will.
Yeah, that's like.
So the pressure's on you now, brother.
I'm not sure.
We've been waiting for him to come over here with his band.
Ah.
Yeah. On the spot. Uh-huh.
Hold on, Jeff. I can't get your head fit in the frame anymore. Hold on a second.
Got me doing the one thing I never do, and that's blush. I feel like I'm like, oh, like coming from you guys.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh! But it really truly is an honor. I can't thank you enough on behalf of humanity for all the things that you've done and all the dedication that you've had to just the spirit of equality and just making the world a better place. And again, just to have all of you in one place is just an absolute honor. And thank you guys so much for coming on. I can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I will make sure that I get you that track. You're only on that track, right? What a Friend We Have in Jesus. That's the only track that you're on.
That's what we want. If you got that one,
Yeah, I'll get it to you.
Great. Thank you.
All right,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Christopher,
love and
Thank
peace.
you, guys.
Jeff,
Thank you guys, everyone.
to you both.
Right. Thank you.
We'll see you in the morning.
And so we can go to YouTube or Facebook to see this again.
Yes, you can go. Yes. Matter of fact, as soon as this is over, it will be
Hi,
immediately
Donna.
on Facebook.com/Funkatopia and YouTube.com/Funkatopia. And you'll be able to listen to this on Spotify and also on Spotify and also iHeartRadio and a bunch of other places as well. Probably by the end of the day tomorrow. So the audio version of this will be on. But if you want to watch it again, yeah, Facebook and YouTube, it will be up there, and we'll actually put it on a YouTube channel. We'll edit it down so that it fits in digestible pieces and whatever, and you'll be able to share it with all your friends and family.
Great.
Yeah.
So
I won't look lost.
No.
we covered it well. We made sure that but you probably don't want to listen to all the stories they were telling about you while you were gone.
It's a lot of
Oh yeah. Yeah. I hope there were good stories there. You know.
I'll edit that out, Patty. I'll protect you. I'll edit that out. So that oh, gosh. Definitely gonna edit out the sound effects. All right.
Again, thank you guys. We love you guys.
All right. Take care.
Brenda, Homer, Patty, Cam, Rob, Ron, Kat, Chris, all of you, thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see you guys later. Thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, man. What? Oh my gosh. I don't even know where to start, dude.
Man, amazing. Like, wow.
I just,
There was so much talent, so much history in this room tonight. In this,
from the musical perspective, you know, that the musical perspective, I got to fix this camera. I had to adjust the camera because the logo was right over my face in the right corner. But from a musical perspective, they, I mean, it's just insane. But I could have easily spoke for about 3 hours on just the history part of it and all the background with Operation Breadbasket and all the stuff that's going on. And I desperately want to see this Soul Sisters movie. If you want more information on the Soul Sisters movie, it's soulsistersofficial.com. Don't go to soulsisters.com. It's a bunch of white ladies doing something.
not necessarily soul. Like,
there's nothing soul about soulsisters.com. So don't go there at all. Soulsistersofficial.com.
and I tell you, Chris, their personality is exactly what you just saw too. That this is how they are in person. This is how it's always been whenever we were hanging out, whenever we were around, and they're just always that energetic and fired up and ready to work.
Yeah, and you have to tell me how to get in touch with Chris and her husband, because
Absolutely.
Obviously we have, I got to get coffee.
Yeah. I'll be going to see them shortly. My mom is in town from Boston hanging, so and we've all hung, so we're all going over there to see them this week or this weekend or something.
Gosh, man, it's just the history is just unbelievable, and the everything that they've done, the work that they've done to put respect and just, I think respect is the best word. Just the Black communities have just been dumped on. And just from everything that has gone on, not just with the obscene core of racism that happens in this country, but some of the injustices that have been heaped onto Black communities. And when Operation Breadbasket came on, to be sitting in the same broadcast with people who are out there making a difference and who are doing things that to try to repair this damaged world is just, I mean, it's just overwhelming.
Not only making the difference, but we're at the beginning of making the difference, and worked all the way through it. And it's a rare thing to find someone with that much strong history and all the great people that they've worked with, everyone in the industry, and they haven't changed. They're still that positive. They're still doing things. They're still moving. They're still glowing lights of energy. It's just, that's a beautiful thing,
and they instill it in their family and everything that they do with their children. And I mean, Cam is carrying the torch and everything that's going on. And, Kat is also continuing to carry the torch, and, Ron and Chris are still doing their thing. It's just, I love that it's not done, that the job, we know that the job is not done. We're fully aware that the job for,
is not done.
It's not done. We are far from done. It's like loading, please wait.
Pause. But we know the work is being done, and we know that we have people who have been doing it and will continue to do it.
Yeah, and of course, everybody was excited to hear all the music background and stuff, and with Donnie Hathaway and Prince and Stevie Wonder and Roberta Flack, and I mean, just unreal. And I know all of our hardcore Prince fans were definitely all ready to hear Brenda's story about Somebody and Hide the Bone. Yes, she was there. I still, the contrast between those two songs is just so funny to me. But
that's hilarious.
I was trying to find the lyrics to Hide the Bone and pull those up to kind of look at the lyrics, just to kind of compare the lyrics side by side. Because it was funny because she was saying that Mavis Staples called her and said, "Oh, Prince is reading your lyrics," and so
he wants more.
And he wants more. He navigates to Hide the Bone.
Right. And only changed the name of the song. Didn't even change the lyrics. Wow.
Yeah, it's a great story. So I am what's so awesome to have them. I saw somebody saying, "Hey, we need to yes, I see everybody putting up the URL here. Yes, soulsistersofficial.com. Make sure that you check that out as well. And one of the things I'm looking forward to this movie. There actually is a book that's written about Operation Breadbasket as well, but I don't know that it actually contains any information necessarily. I mean, it probably talks about the organization in general. And there's a lot of history that goes back because it actually predated that whole part where Jesse got involved, because Operation Breadbasket started in 1962. So it goes way back. And I don't think anything that Jesse didn't start until 1969. Anyways, all that being said, what a great show. I was about to mention, somebody said we need to have some of these folks on individually and really kind of dig deep. And they're all fantastic, but I can't imagine having Patti without Brenda.
That's the funny thing is the reason,
pretty much like a dream team. It kind of
and keep the reason that they came like this is because the biggest thing that the biggest message they want people to understand is it really is about family. And so it was important to them that they all were a part of this interview and this night. And so I think individually, though it may be great and it'd be great stories, I think they prefer to be together and share. And that's how their family is. And that's how everyone should be, honestly. And they lead by example.
Yeah, I love the fact that we were able to get everybody involved and actually get dialogue from everybody. And Cam, if you're still watching, sorry to put you on the spot, but you got to get those CDs out of the
Get
attic.
those CDs, man. Get up in the attic.
It's time. Y'all need some Christmas money. Let's sell some CDs.